Bum.
Bring.
Oh, I was way off on that. When I'm at home, I couldn't feel where it was when we were time to go, so I missed my bendy. I apologize. I missed the bendy on a Tuesday.
Not every bendy can be perfect. It's okay.
Look, far from it. I know it. I can admit it. I'm okay with that. All right, but anyways, welcome to the Blue Review. No Marcus Grant today. Marcus Grant is out in, I think, San Diego for this entire week, so it's always going to be me and Parker Bell for the rest of the week. And actually, I think you're off Thursday too, right?
Yeah. We're gonna have to look into tomorrow. I may have a earlier flight than planned, so I'm gonna be in contact with you soon.
All right, I'll just make sure that I can find somebody else to be with me the next couple of days. Yes.
We are flying out of LAX. So.
Oh, you are flying out of LAX, and as you know, LAX is changing. Changes are arriving daily at LAX, transforming the travel experience. For more information, go to flylax.com/transforminglax. And I was just at LAX also. I dropped my girlfriend off, and she went to Bali, and I think she's listening right now. So shout out to Jean right there for you. Just want to help her out.
Bali,
Bali, yeah, amazing.
It looks beautiful. Meanwhile, if anybody has North Dakota tips, send my way.
I got a whole thing about North Dakota. I don't think North Dakota should actually exist. South Dakota's fine, but North Dakota should not even be on there. There should be 49 states, and North Dakota should just be one big Dakota.
Just one Dakota. There might be a few other places that we can do that too, but if anybody's from North Dakota, we apologize.
It's like you and like two other people. But anyway, Let's get into the Dodgers. This is the Blue Review, Parker, and thanks everybody in the chat for being here. I'm going to be checking in on the chat there as well. But big series, you would maybe not really think big series when it comes to the Rockies, but the Rockies are on a bit of a heater, Parker. They're 9-11 in the month of June. They've had two different win streaks in this month, one of 3 games, one of 4 games, and they just beat Arizona. So they are kind of on a heater right now.
Don't let those Rockies get hot, guys. Listen, I remember earlier in the season when we were about to play them and when the Dodgers were about to play them, and they were having that hilarious, I think it was like, they were going back and forth with like a Scotty Scheffler joke, their social media team. And it was my favorite thing ever. They were like, wins in the month of June, 2. Scotty Scheffler, 0. And it turns out they've had a great June since then.
Yeah. I think the social media teams are so important to teams that are not that great. I mean, exactly. It's great to have a good social media team, but if you're a bad team, you need to have a phenomenal one. And that was a really, really good tweet by them. The Kings, like the Los Angeles Kings, they're really good this year, or that they were good, but their social media team on point always. But we are going to have German Marquez versus, we were trying to figure it out before, Parker. I don't know who the starter is going to be, but if I had to make my guess, it would be Justin Robleski. He was the last time we saw him was on June 18th when he filled in for Emmett Sheehan. And Sheehan is not allowed up because he was sent back down to AAA. He has to wait 10 days before he can come back up. So it will not be Sheehan, but Robleski into Dreyer. I'm not sure what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be a robo game, and I'm perfectly happy with that. Last outing we saw from him, a phenomenal 5 innings. He looks like almost a brand new pitcher. So if we do have to go with robo, that's great. And then you're going to get a few back end guys, and we'll see what happens. But moving forward against the Rockies, you get to see Kershaw, Yamamoto, and I think May. So it'll be a fun series. I think overall, what I'm most excited for, I believe it was the 18th, was maybe the 10-year anniversary, or what would it have been? 2014. So 11-year anniversary of Kershaw's no-hitter against the Rockies.
Oh, look at that.
So the fact that, we get full circle moment, one of his last years, if not his last year, he could get to possibly, what is he, 8 away now?
Yeah, he's 8 strikeouts away, and so it's going to go bullpen game, Yamamoto, Kershaw, and then May. So Kershaw on Wednesday. My days are off Thursday.
Today's Tuesday, so Thursday. Yeah.
Yes, Thursday. Yeah. So on Thursday, yeah, it'd be great. I hope he gets to that, and also the fact that that's what you said, the anniversary of the no hitter. Could he do it again? Probably not. But I did like the fact that you said that this could be his last year, or it is going to be his last year. Are you retiring Clayton Kershaw right now on the Blue Review at 8:35?
Well, listen, here's what I got to say. I've been obviously I watch Mason and Ireland every single day, and Ireland's been on this track about should we put and you were in the studio just the other day, should
Yeah.
we put Kershaw in as an honorary All-Star member because it's his last year? And the thing is though, like I just mentioned, we don't know. He has not announced if it's his last year. I get he's going to reach that illustrious 3,000 career mark, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's gone. And Kershaw's one of those guys who I feel like is never really going to admit it until the team is like, "Hey, let's do this mutually together."
I'm mostly just giving you hell because I kind of very much believe that too. I've always thought that when he came back, I don't know. I mean, he's pitching well, so he'll go as long as he wants to go. And he's going to be a Dodger for life. So if he comes back next year and does kind of the same thing that you miss a little bit of the beginning of the season or even half the season and come back later in the year, you're going to get 3 good months out of Kershaw. That's like what you're looking at. And this year, it just happened to be that you were going to get a little bit of May, June, July, and maybe a little bit of August. So you get that June, July, August portion. I don't expect to see him in September. I don't expect to see him in October. And if he does come back next year, awesome. But I just love the fact that he's going to get that 3,000 strikeouts because it just puts that little extra check mark on his resume for the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it'll be just a great honor. Honestly, I don't think he reaches. Let's be real. I don't think he reaches it in this Colorado series, and I'm hoping that maybe he holds off till he's home so that he can have that big celebration and just that moment, tip of the cap moment, for really finishing off this Hall of Fame career. Not finishing off, but like putting a cap.
No, we just anything Kershaw does from here on out is just gravy, and it's amazing every time he goes out there. It's just nice to be able to say like, oh, we're watching a Hall of Famer consistently and pitching well and not looking like he did last year at the beginning of the year where he was just getting smacked around. He's actually pitching. He's pitching well, and he's getting guys out. It's really nice to see. But I want to talk about a little bit. I want to move over to the catching situation. So what we saw on Sunday was Dalton Rushing catching, giving away some time for Will Smith, and he got on base multiple times, scored a bunch of runs, starting to feel a little bit more comfortable from what it looks like at the plate. His whole thing has always been, like I don't swing at the balls, but he was swinging at the balls, he was swinging at the strikes, he was swinging at everything and missing, and so it started. There was a lot of conversation around should he go back down. I don't think that was the right move, but what we're seeing now is hopefully that he can catch 1 to 2 days a week, give Will Smith a little bit of rest so that he continues on this pace that he's on, this all-star, one of the best catchers in the game pace, so that he's at the same situation when we get into September and October.
Yeah, I think that he's a rookie. Ebbs and flows come with being a rookie. And the fact that, he's here on this team, being able to learn from guys like Shohei at the plate, guys like Mookie, despite their struggles, learning how to get through struggles. And I think that's the biggest thing is when you have a rookie playing 2 games, here and there, and you're sitting behind Will Smith, one of the best catchers in the game, if not the best catcher. I don't see any reason to send him down at all this year. I think that he's set up in a position to really succeed, whether it be with this team or not in the future. I think that Dalton Rushing is somebody who's going to have a big career in this league. And the fact that he's swinging at balls, he might be getting a little eager, wanting to prove himself. But I'm with Dalton Rushing all the way. I think that ever since I saw him walk up with Kid Cudi, I was like,
I think
guy.
Stash.
And the stash. That's my kind of guy. So much potential in the defense, the frame rates. In terms of everything else that I see, the eye test, Dalton Rushing still passes.
Yeah, no, he was never going to go back down. I think there was a lot of just conversation around he's not hitting, he's kind of screwing up, he's not playing very well and not getting on base with a lot of strikeouts. And so maybe he should play every day in AAA, but that was never going to happen. As soon as you got rid of Austin Barnes, or let Austin Barnes go, I should say it in the nice way and not be mean about the captain. But either way, as soon as they let Austin Barnes go, that was it. He was here up for the entire time. I mean, I guess technically you could bring up Hunter Fiducia, but they want to see what this kid can do. And as we know, Dave Roberts is somebody that really will allow you to have a massive runway. I mean, look at Conforto, look at what they did with Muncy. It's just the way that this team works. You get runway.
It's what, a 100 at bat rule almost. I mean, it usually ends up being a lot more than that, but that's what Dave says. And Dalton maybe hovering around that 40 at bat mark. So It's been so early, and I know that there's like a high ground ball rate and strikeout, but I wouldn't be worried if anybody if any fans out here was worried.
No, I'm happy to see that he is playing well and that he had a good game, and that's maybe can get him going into something a little bit more. Because, like we were saying, Will Smith has to be the same Will Smith throughout this year. He is such an important part of this offense and such an important part of this team. Look, if he goes through a slump, fine. He's going to happen. Actually, I think he was starting to go through a little bit of a slump in June, along with Freddie and Mookie and all the other guys that were, even Shohei was going through a slump at the beginning of June. But he needs to be the Will Smith that we've seen all year come the end of the year, because without him, it's going to be a very, very tough sled. He's so good with runners in scoring position. So if he gets those extra days,
Yeah, I was just agreeing. He might be the best in the league with runners in scoring position. It's ridiculous what he's doing. When you're seeing that number hovering around the 500 average with runners in scoring position, my jaw drops every single time.
Yeah, no, it's great. Now there's some guys that need to start picking it up. Teo is really starting to kind of flounder a little bit. I think that was always going to happen at some point, especially coming off of that injury. But he did have, he had like three games in a row that he had a home run. So people are like, okay, he's fine. But he's still swinging and missing at pitches that he just should be fully laying off. I mean, they're just going to keep throwing the outside strike and then at the bottom of the zone because he swings wildly at all of those things. What do you think that Teo should be looking for?
Well, the thing is, it's just his whole career, he gets to those 0-2 counts, those 1-2 counts so often. And what's funny is that throughout his career, he's also been a really good two-strike hitter, but this year's just been slightly different. And, he's dealt with the injuries here and there. I'm not necessarily sure what Teo needs to do to turn things around, but I think that if it starts on, and this is going to sound funny because everybody in the chat and some of the fans know that he doesn't really try as hard on the defensive end. I think it starts on the defensive end. That's a very basketball cliche term, but Teo is that kind of guy who brings the energy. If we start seeing the energy on the field, then maybe it can start to translate on the actual batter's end. Because right now it just looks like he honestly doesn't want to be up to the plate at times. He's just there and swings swings at those outside pitches, and it's like, are you taking some days off, Teo? Like mentally?
Yeah, no, it does a little bit, but I don't mind the defense to offense analogy because like he's starting to get a little bit better out there. I've seen it to a certain extent that he actually is. He's cutting off balls and holding guys to singles instead of doubles, like he did to Machado a few times. He did in the series against the Nationals too. So if that starts to pick up. Maybe he just needs a pep talk from Pages, like reverse Pages. Like he gives all the Pages. He does it for him. He got him into a good headspace. Now give it little brother, give it back to big brother, and so maybe he can figure it out that way. I don't know, but something's got to change a little bit for Teo.
Yeah, and that's funny because that may be a factor in this as well. Teo had all the limelight, and Teo was such a factor last year. That now that Andy's kind of taken over, maybe it's taking Teo a little bit to adjust. Obviously, we don't know these guys as humans, but it's still Teoscar Hernandez, and he is still throwing those sunflower seeds when everybody's hitting home runs. So at least you're seeing he's positive, and the Dodgers are winning. So I think he'll eventually keep track with the team and start moving forward. I mean, but I can see in the chat, Julian Anthony just mentioning, his facial expressions aren't looking good. He looks frustrated. He needs to go out there, have fun, and get loose. Be the Teo we know Teo is.
Yep. I mean, it's not just him, like we talked about yesterday too. It is Freddie. He is massively frustrated. You can see in his face, even when he gets a single, he's like shaking his head and like with this mean mug on his face. Where it's like, I hit a ball on the ground. I hit the ball on the ground. I want it in the air. I want to get a double. I want to try and hit home runs. I want to start like showing that I have that slug. Instead, he's hitting these balls on the ground for singles that are not actually driving anybody in either. He's frustrated. Teo's frustrated. Mookie's frustrated, which, by the way, can I just real fast with Mookie? If he pops another one up to second base, it's just insanity. How often when he's swinging, it's a pop up to second base over and over and over again.
He's getting jammed a lot, and the at-bats have not looked pretty.
No.
But we talked about Mookie a lot in the last couple episodes, and we'll talk about him more. We believe in Mookie, and we believe in Freddie. Despite the 600 at-bat plus struggle from Mookie. I think that because what we're seeing on the defensive end, we can still be positive about him. We can still feel comfortable with him out there. Of course, it's Mookie Betts. You're going to feel comfortable about him. But it even happens. Listen, I mean, all the way back to like the World Baseball Classic, there were times where I was like, Mookie, I love Mookie, and he would just ground out to second. And
Did you do this? Did you do this when you said
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be like, every time I say Mookie back then when it was a thing, I
It
was
was
like,
just
yeah,
it
say that.
was just this. It was just
Yeah, and he tends to, struggle in the big moments when it comes to, sometimes runners in scoring positions. He'll pop up or just ground out into a double play, and it's hard because you love him so much as a person. That there's a lot of a bigger discussion that we can have about Mookie. But I did, Greg, and I know we wanted to get into the chat a little bit. I think it was Ryan R. So Sunday we got to see Otani yet again. He
Yep.
asks, I thought the Dodgers are building up Otani. Looks like they're building him down. Let Otani pitch 2 or 3 innings if there's no stressful, if there's not a stressful inning. I know you had some thoughts on Otani's performance Sunday.
Yeah, I have no issue with Otani pitching 1 inning because they built the Ben. Because I actually thought I was thinking about this yesterday. They actually did this the exact right way. They built up Ben Kasparius. They made him into a full starter that they could use, but they just gave him an opener in Otani to get Otani to build up. Right now in June, what is it? It's June 24th. I don't need Otani going 7. I don't need Otani going 3, 4, 5 just yet. When he will ramp up as he needs to ramp up. We need Otani going 5, 6, 7 innings when we get into August, September, October. So if it's going to be a slow ramp up, the fact that he wasn't even supposed to be pitching right now. Every report said after the All-Star break. Instead, he's pitching right now. So if he only goes 1 inning, and he goes up to 2 next time, and he maybe stays around 2 for a couple and then goes up to, it's going to be a slow ramp. Totally fine with all of that. And then you have somebody like Ben Kasparius who's ready to go 5 innings right behind him. If that's going from the third inning to the 8th inning, or it's the 4th inning through the 9th inning, that's good for the Dodgers. That's good for Otani to slow ramp up. It's good for the bullpen too, where the bullpen doesn't get taxed over and over again like we've seen so many times before at the beginning of the season. So the fact that they're only allowing Otani to go 1-2 innings at a time right now, fine. As long as you have a guy like Ben Kasparius who's going to be able to go through. He may not be perfect every time, give up some runs every once in a while, but they're doing it the exact right way because guess what? The Dodgers are smart. The Dodgers are a smart baseball team. They know how to work these pitchers.
Yep.
And this is one of those things that is done too perfectly to a T. I'm really, really happy with the way that they're handling Otani pitching.
If you have guys like Benny C, as when he first got called up, I used to call him Ben Quadraneros,
I like that.
A very deep Star Wars cut. So if anybody in the chat is a Phantom Menace fan, you'll know. But if you have Robleski starting to maybe find his form, you got 2 guys who can just eat 5 or 6 innings, if not more, and Otani can open as much as he wants. So on that topic, James Delgado in the chat, Greg asks, or says rather, Otani will be the opener for the bullpen games come this off season. Where do you stand on that? Do you think that if he makes it there, healthy, of course, knock on wood, is he just going to be a 5 inning plus guy, or is he just going to be one of the openers that way they can come in with nasty stuff and then they go into somebody like Ben Kasparius?
Otani? No. Otani's going to ramp up. He's going to be a pitcher. He's going to be he's going to be a full-time pitcher. And I saw somebody else in the chat saying he wants to see a complete game and a cycle in the same game. Look, that is not out of the realm of possibility. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Otani. So yeah, I also think that he has always said that he's more of a pitcher than a hitter, which is shocking to say something like that when you have one of the best hitters ever and saying that he's more of a pitcher. So he's going to be a full-time pitcher. But it's going to be at the right time when he needs to be at that space. And if he goes 5 innings and hits a home run in the same game, that's amazing. If he goes 6 innings and has a couple hits, that's amazing. You want a 9-inning game and a cycle? How about 4 home runs and 15 RBIs all with it too? Is that
right? He's a freak in the best ways. I mean, one of his best performances of all time was actually like a back-to-back. I think he pitched nearly a complete game, or it was like a one-hitter, and then he went on to hit 2 home runs in the the like night game after that. I think it was against the Tigers when he was with the Halos. That you're going to see something magical happen like that with Otani. He pitched 1 inning and had 5 RBIs already. Like that already is magical, and we're going to see something that we never thought we would see, and we just have to get used to saying that because Otani is a unicorn, as Hawaiian Kira says in the chat. Magic if that happens.
And I also saw JF put in the chat that DeMarco Farr says that he'll never hit for the cycle on the same day he pitches. And if he wants to come, if he's right there, you can have him come in. I've already talked about it. It's a ridiculous statement. It's something that can absolutely be done. It might not happen, but to say that it can't happen is just silly. He can pitch in the first inning and then come in and hit a home run and just have a great game. He just had 5 RBIs and a triple and a home run. You think getting a single and a double on top of that is not going to happen also at some point? Like,
no, exactly. And the bet was, for anybody who maybe wasn't watching Travis and DeMarco or caught up, the bet was he has to be the pitcher of record and then hit for the cycle. I feel like in DeMarco's eyes, when he was first hearing that, he was like, okay, he's got to go really long and get the W. Innings. I mean, you just got to get through 5 and get the W. You have to have the lead. And he could be the reason why they have the lead because he could have, obviously hit a home run or a single at that early point of the stage.
Well, there's some things in there. If you say that he has to be the pitcher of record, he could pitch 1 inning, lose, give up a whole bunch of runs and still hit for the cycle. You still win that bet. So that's semantics, but still he could very easily go 5. That's just who Otani is. So
foolish bet.
Very, very much so. All right.
Anything
So
else? Yeah.
I was going to say, this is when we're not around the same place, Parker, it makes it difficult. I think you have this like feeling of like, I need to lead into it, but I'll get you there. Don't worry. We'll get to where we need to go.
Chat, I'm getting jumpy, No Marcus, and I'm getting a little excited.
This is why we let Marcus do it, so I can just sit back and relax. See, and then now you're just not used to it without Marcus. It's okay. We got plenty of stuff. But I wanted to go over the schedule just a little bit also, because while we just had that massive playing the Padres twice and the Giants and came out of it just beautifully, it just feels nice to now go into a bunch of series. Now you can't let up by any means, but to go into the Rockies, into the Royals, into the White Sox, that's a full on. And after you just had the Nationals for 3, that's 12 games where you're like, can just breathe. And hopefully, you do a little bit where you go something like 12-4, which is not, or it's a 12 game, sorry, 8-4. And then you're looking at a month that is just beyond everything, and you're way above everybody in the division and in the league.
You get an opportunity, and I've just been clamoring for this to maybe give Yamamoto some run support. Get
once, please.
Please, just once. Get somebody in their groove. Maybe Teoscar finds some magic in Colorado, and those things go flying in that stadium and Coors. So I think that this is an opportunity just for certain guys. While we don't want to see the team let up because the schedule is a little less, you do want to maybe take this opportunity. If you're facing guys who are having 6 ERAs, get out there and find your swing. I think, who was it the other day? Rojas said he found his swing off of the position pitcher when he hit that home run. Little things like that can make a huge difference in somebody's season. So this is great. Dodgers get to not relax, but maybe find something that can get them going forward for the rest of the season.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun. Rockies tonight, German Marquez. I'm guessing Justin Wroblewski, but I'm not sure. That's probably, I would assume, a Wroblewski and Dreyer getting a lot of run today. But that's going to do it for the Blue Review. Thank you to Parker Bell for hanging out with me and trying to be the one, even though I had it all covered. For Gregor, thank you, chat. Thank you to LAX. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure to go pay attention and listen to Travis and DeMarco. See ya.
The Blue Review.